What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Elan's Matchup Maximizer, our podcast presented by Keaton Carlson, where I, Elan Dubrovsky, take a look at next week's NHL schedule, try to give you the lowdown on which teams to target to get the edge in your head-to-head matchups. Here we are. We're heading into a big week in fantasy hockey. You're in your fantasy playoffs at this point, either your quarterfinals or your semifinals, depending on your setup. In the Keeping Carlson Ultimate Fantasy League, we're going into the semifinals, and I got to tell you, I've been looking at this schedule for the past month, pretty much. I'm one of the lucky ones. I got a bye with still a week to spare and just like barely got it, but whatever, I got it. And then I had a week of the last week of the regular season, and then this past week to just stare at this matchup and try to maximize my roster as best I can. I hope I've done a good job. I guess I'll find out next week in Tier 3 Lyungby of the Cupful. But yeah, if there's one week that I can tell you every single team and when they're playing, it is next week. And so we're going to have some fun looking through all the teams that are worth targeting to figure out which players should be on your radars. And look, it's not an easy week for streaming, which makes it interesting. Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, super busy. We're looking at 30 teams playing Tuesday, 26 teams playing Thursday, 30 teams playing Saturday. You're likely full, almost definitely on the Tuesday and Saturday, likely on the Thursday as well. So go set your roster to see if you maybe have room on Thursday to add someone. But yeah, you're looking at those off days to try to stream players in, but there's not that many games. Monday, just one game, Ottawa and the Rangers. Wednesday, 2 games. Friday, 2 games. Sunday, a little bit better with 6 games. So maybe we're going to be looking at some Sunday savers, but what, you're going to add someone on Monday that's going to not get in your roster until Sunday? I don't think I'd play it that way. So probably the strategy is to try to find one of the teams playing on Monday, Wednesday, or Friday, or definitely target any position that you're low on, right? If you only are rostering 3D, next week is a week where you grab a 4th D because you're going to be guaranteed your 3 or 4 games from that person versus a forward. If you need a goalie, go get a goalie. And good luck, okay? This is it. Like, it could all come down to winning or losing next week's matchup. And of course, we all know, we've been talking about it. I've been noticing this since like the start of the season, that the team with the best schedule next week, with every team basically playing Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, you've got the New York Rangers playing Monday against Ottawa, Wednesday at Toronto, Friday versus Chicago, Sunday at Florida. So it's 4 off-day games, and also against teams that they may be able to score some goals against. Toronto, Florida, even Ottawa, Chicago, come on. Like, this could be a huge week for your Rangers streamers. And if you're in any serious league, like the Rangers, especially with a bye, like the Cupful, the Rangers are picked through. There's nobody. I could tell you, here are all the Rangers rostered in my Cupful division. Adam Fox, Zibanejad, JT Miller, Vincent Trocheck, Lafreniere, Cooley, Gavrikov, Gabe Perreault, Braden Schneider, Will Borgen, Noah Laba, and Ty Karche. So if I wanted to stream in a New York Ranger, there's like that. There's Connor Sherry, I guess, is an option. Yaroslav Chmelar, Taylor Radish. That's who we're looking at as potential Rangers to stream for next week. So I'm telling you, there's nobody. Oh, Matthew Robertson. Have you heard of any of these people? So maybe you have better options than me, though I'm one of the lucky ones because I do have 2 of them. I have Will Cooley, who I've rostered all season long, and unfortunately he's been like ice cold lately. But hey, all I need is something next week. But yeah, it hasn't been good for Cooley. He's pointless now in 7 games. But at the same time, I feel like you got to take a shot, right? He's been playing like in practice. Yes, today, I'm recording this, by the way, Saturday. It's 10 p.m. So the early games are finished. I won't have the full data for the late games for you. This like Tampa versus the Oilers that's just about to start. But yeah, I can tell you that we have practice lines today from the Rangers who didn't play today. They play also tomorrow. So this is a Sunday savior for this week, and then amazing streamer for next week. Any New York Ranger. The lines were Zibanejad, Lafreniere, the red hot Alexis Lafreniere, and Gabe Perreault, and then Cooley with Trocheck and Radish. So I think the obvious, and then JT Miller centering the 3rd line, which on one hand is like, if you have JT Miller, you're like, oh, I don't love this. On the other hand, if you have Karche or you want to go for a Connor Sherry, that's pretty good that you're getting someone centered by JT Miller for whatever that's worth. But yeah, so Cooley on the line with Trocheck. It's okay. I guess Gabe Perreault's been pretty solid. Like, he got bumped from the top power play, Perreault, when JT Miller came back from his injury. So that's not as ideal, but he's still been able to get some points on this line with Lafreniere and Zibanejad. So I'd say your top streamers for the Rangers, of anyone rostered in, let's say, 40% or less, because that does include Will Cooley, but you're looking at Gabe Perreault, I think, number 1 with a bullet. Then maybe Will Cooley. Gavrikov has been solid on D. Maybe Gavrikov at this point goes over Will Cooley. Yeah, definitely. Okay, so give me Gavrikov over Cooley at this point. He's been getting points pretty consistently. So Perot, Gavrikov, Cooley, and then, yeah, you're looking at maybe, I don't know, Ty Karche had a couple good games, hasn't done much lately. But whatever. But it's like, compared to, I have Brock Besser in free agency, Beckett Seneke, but these are guys who only play Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, and I'm full. Or maybe I have room on Thursday. So I'd rather get 4 games from a nobody than like a single game, I think, from even like someone half decent. So that's the decision you have to make. But yeah, that's the New York Rangers. I don't know really how much more there is to say about them at this point. I've told you pretty much every player on the team. So good luck to you. And yeah, someone was writing in the Discord, the Keeping Karlsson Discord, of like what happens if the Rangers just do nothing next week. Like a whole bunch of people who are prepping are going to be super disappointed. But what can you do? It's your best bet with a schedule like that. So that's the New York Rangers. There are a couple other teams that I think are worth targeting. You've got the Buffalo Sabres, who play Wednesday, Friday, Saturday. So you can get those Wednesday, Friday games and then just move on come the weekend, maybe drop for a Sunday person to make it a 3 games in that roster spot, which isn't so bad. Who are you going to target on Buffalo? They're coming off a 4-1 win today over the Los Angeles Kings. Zach Benson had a goal and an assist. So maybe he's someone that's available in some leagues. I could tell you what the lines were today for Buffalo. They were rolling with Thompson, Tuck, and Peyton Krebs. And then Josh Norris, Josh Doan, and Noah Ostlund, and then Quinn McLeod-Zucker, and then Benson actually on the 4th line with Malenstein and Carrick. But hey, Benson did get the points there. So I feel like it's like that's what Buffalo's been like all year, just spreading it around. I actually added Jack Quinn after his hat trick last week. Since Jack Quinn had that hat trick, because I guess it was 2 weeks ago now, he had 3 goals and an assist versus San Jose back on March 10th. Since then, nothing, then a goal versus Toronto, then nothing in the last 3 games. So I don't know. At this point, I grabbed him. I'm holding him for Wednesday, Friday. He's already he'll have to do something insane to not get dropped on Saturday. But at this point, again, just like the Rangers, a lot of Buffalo Sabres are now taken in this division. I don't even know. Like, I could give you a ranking, I guess, if you're in a shallow league and some of these guys are available. The people who might be available to you, like Josh Doan is 31% rostered on Yahoo. Josh Doan is doing pretty well. He's got 2 points now in his last 3 games. I love Josh Doan being on the top power play. I'd like him playing with Tage Thompson, but that's changed. So it's Doan with Norris and Ostlund, like I said. But I think getting a top power play exposure is pretty good. So I would take Josh Doan, like I said. Maybe even more so, give me Josh Norris, who is only 19% rostered on Yahoo. He's healthy for now. Will he make it through next week? Who knows? You just need Wednesday, Friday. 2 points in his last 3 games. Got an assist today against LA. Obviously, it hasn't been the exciting return that a lot of people were hoping for from Norris when he came back from injury compared to what we were expecting him to do going into the season. But still, I think Norris at this point, again, another top power play guy. It's generally been Tage and Zucker, Doan, Norris, and Rasmus Dahlin. Alex Tuck can't crack that, but the 2 Joshes have been there, so give me one of them. Also, you can take a look at a goalie. Like, if UPL is out there, he's probably not, right? But I'd imagine they're going to go Wednesday UPL because they're just going to continue. So Buffalo's also playing tomorrow, by the way, on Sunday, and that'll probably be Alex Lyon after another good game for UPL today. So that will then lead to Luukkonen Wednesday, Lyon Friday, and then probably UPL again Saturday. So give me even honestly like 1 game from Alex Lyon on the Friday might be worth it with the way these Sabres goaltenders have been doing, depending on your goalie scoring. The Sabres just can't be stopped right now. They win basically every single game they play. What is the streak now? They're on a 4-game win streak. They lost to Washington 5 games ago, and before that they were on another huge winning streak. So you want a Buffalo goalie, but I did drop Alex Lyon, I will admit, because I was just like, can I really hold a guy just to get a game on Friday? There's a lot of goalies that have been dropped in this division, so I'm hoping I won't regret it. I'm sure he'll get like 15 fantasy points on Friday, but I don't know. We'll see how it works out. I think I dropped him to get a Monday game from this next team that I'll talk about in just a sec, the Ottawa Senators. So maybe I'll regret it. But I have a plan. Trust me. I'll explain it all, but okay, when I get to Ottawa, but let me just finish the Buffalo Sabres here. So, like I said, give me Doan, give me Norris if you can't get one of them. If you want someone that's kind of on a hot streak, again, like I said, Peyton Krebs has been on the top line. He also has assists in each of his last 3 games. So, look, a guy playing on the top line with Tage Thompson and Alex Tuck, I definitely want him. So, I feel like you can't go too badly with Peyton Krebs. And then after that, I don't know. Ostlund has been getting some points lately. Somehow Sam Carrick actually has been scoring. He scored a goal today and had 2 goals the game before versus San Jose. I can't imagine this will keep up. But this is Buffalo. They do weird things. I didn't expect Peyton Krebs to hold on to some relevance for as long as he did. So Ryan McLeod has been cold, but we've seen McLeod go on some runs that are inexplicable. So again, kind of like the Rangers we've got, but like I like the Buffalo guys better, but then the Rangers have 4 off-day games versus 2 off-day games. But yeah, I don't know. Is that helpful? Go get a Sabre. That's all I can tell you. But okay, let's take a break. When we come back, I'm going to talk about the Ottawa Senators who play Monday. And it's like, that's good, okay? You get Monday. That's more than you get from most of these teams. So I'll talk about them in just a sec. We'll be right back. DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL, is built for the fastest game on ice. With player props and live betting, every shift, every shot, every save gives you options to get in on the game with DraftKings Sportsbook. I'm taking a look at the odds right now. As of March 15th, I like looking at the awards odds. The Vezina is the most interesting to me right now. Vasilevsky is currently the favorite. He's coming off a weak game against Carolina yesterday. I feel like the field is still kind of wide open. I wonder if someone could still win it. Sorokin is next in the list. If you have an idea of who you think is going to win the Vezina, take a look at DraftKings Sportsbook. By the way, new customers bet just $5. If your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets instantly. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code THPN. That's code THPN to turn $5 into $300 in bonus bets if your bet wins. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. New York, call 8778-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. Connecticut, call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino in Kansas, wager tax pass-through may apply in Illinois. 21 plus in most states. Void in Ontario. Restrictions apply. Bet must win to receive bonus bets which expire in 7 days. Minimum odds required. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio. Limited time offer. Copyright 2026. NHL all rights reserved. Okay, so we covered the New York Rangers playing Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Sunday. We covered the Buffalo Sabres, giving you Wednesday, Friday, Sunday. I want to go to the Ottawa Senators next just because I like the idea. If you're listening to this on Sunday, you have a move left to go, why not preemptively stream someone from the Sens who play, and again, the only game on Monday is the Rangers versus Ottawa. Get that guy. I have a plan. Okay, my plan is that at one point, Adrian Kempe got injured last week and missed a game, and I put him in IR, and I grabbed Shane Pinto out of free agency, and I had already grabbed Claude Giroux before. So I have Giroux and Pinto. My plan is to drop both of them on Tuesday. And I'm telling this, my opponents could hear it. I'm going to drop one of them to activate Kempe, who will play Tuesday. And the other one, I do have Askarov in IR. So if he comes back miraculously and plays Tuesday, then I'll get that game. If not, I might be looking for a goalie there since I'm full at every other position. So I'm not expecting to hold my Sens for long, but I'm hoping for a big game on Monday against the Rangers. So I'll be rooting for it. Look, the Rangers will be tired. They're playing also tomorrow, like I said. Maybe a good chance to get some points from the Sens. So who are we going to go for? So let's start with those two guys, by the way, that I just mentioned. Claude Giroux, after being pointless in like a million games, actually now had, with his goal today and 7 shots in the 5-2 win over Toronto, up to 3 points in his last 4 games. And the thing with Giroux is even when he was ice cold, I think I was saying on this podcast or the Mega Show, like, bro's on the top line with Stützle, okay? So it's weird that Stützle and Batherson. Like, that's a pretty good pair of line mates. It was surprising that he was, like, even if he's, over the hill, he's not the same as he used to be, whatever. It's like you're on the top line with Stützle and Batherson. You're going to eventually find a way to get points. Who knows if it'll happen on Monday of next week. I also actually have an opening on Thursday. So if you do, like I said, if you've kind of been planning ahead and you've already got a couple Rangers, that means you may, or a Sabre, then that means you have opening on Thursday. So if you can get an Ottawa player and get Monday and Thursday, that even makes it even more appealing. And then you drop, for the Friday, because you're probably not going to fit that send in on the Saturday. But yeah, Claude Giroux at this point, if he's in free agency, like, just why not get a top line guy, get the Monday game. You're not wasting one of your next week ads because you're doing it today. If it's Monday morning, maybe it's a little bit different. I don't know if I'm using but again, you kind of have to plan out your week, and it's tricky because there might be an injury and you'll wish you saved your ad, or maybe you'll be like running up a huge lead and you'll be able to switch up your plan and start making ads for the finals, and you'll wish you had saved a couple ads. So I don't know about Monday morning, but if it's Sunday, get Claude Giroux. And Shane Pinto got dropped. I claimed him on waivers. I thought someone else would, so I'm happy I got him because Pinto's been good for a while, and I get that his line, like, you wouldn't think he should be good because Shane Pinto's playing with Cousins and Amadio on line 3, but he had an assist a day. He scored the game before versus the Islanders, a couple pointless games before that, but at least he had 2-3 shots. Before that, he had a 2-assist game versus Anaheim. So I don't know. Pinto just keeps figuring out ways to get points. Again, for a single game, who knows? But I like that the game is at least against the New York Rangers. So if you can get one of those guys, go for it. But these are both now Giroud and Pinto. Like we're talking about like 20, 30% rostered on Yahoo. So after that, it gets a little bit more hairy. Some names of guys who have been hot lately, at least. You could look at a Fabian Zetterlund who had a 1 goal, 1 assist game against San Jose last week. Zetterlund, though, has been playing on the fourth line with Eller and Fogle, which you think wouldn't be good. But actually, Fogle has scored now in 3 of his last 4 games. So he's enjoying his new stint on the Ottawa Senators. Will it last? I don't know. I don't love that line combination, but I also don't love Pinto's line combination. And maybe Fogle can keep it up. Is that the best option? I don't know. So I said that one line is Stützle, Batherson, Giroux. The other top 6 line is Cousins, Tkachuk, and Ridley Gregg. So that does point to Ridley Gregg as someone potentially appealing. He did score today against Toronto. Before that, Gregg was pointless in forever. I definitely would have rathered, like a pointless in forever Giroux on the top line than a Ridley Gregg with Cousins and Tkachuk. But I guess it's kind of like a similar situation. So maybe that's just a bias against an old, a younger player who wasn't at one point a superstar like Claude Giroux. But I guess it's possible Ridley Gregg can do stuff. Look, again, if he's playing with Cousins and Tkachuk and we expect Cousins and Tkachuk to be capable of getting even strength points, then maybe Gregg could do something. I think I would take Pinto ahead of him. And then it's like, if I'm comparing Gregg to a Warren Fogle, I wonder if he just ride the hot hand. So I don't know. It's kind of tricky. I don't really have an answer for you there, but I like that Gregg scored today, at least. Then, there's some D. And again, if you're in a situation where you have an open D spot or you can fit a D on Thursday or something, then you're not going to get Shabbat or the injured Jake Sanderson, of course, but Tyler Clevin has now 4 points in his last 4 games. Is he going to keep that offense up? Almost assuredly no, but he's pretty decent for hits and blocks and has actually taken Clevin 2 shots per game in each of his last 4 games while he's on this run. I guess he's stepping up with Sanderson out of the lineup. So you can't really ignore what Tyler Clevin has been doing. Artem Zub, big minute muncher on the team, good for periffs, not much else, but maybe he can throw you a random assist here or there to go along with his 2-3 blocks a game, a couple hits, maybe get a shot or 2. So I guess those would be your options there for Ottawa. Michael Amadio, I know, went on a run kind of recently where he was getting points almost every game. He also scored today against Toronto. So yeah, again, when we're scraping the bottom of the barrel in terms of there's not that many teams to stream from, and they've probably been picked apart, it may be worth it. You may be like, why am I grabbing Michael Amadio for a winner or lose, winner I'm out playoff matchup? But you may be in that situation where there's no better option, even if you have let me look, who's my top free agent right now in terms of fantasy points? Beckett Seneke, Matty Beniers, William Eklund. They're obviously I like those guys better, but if they only play Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, and I'm full, what are you going to do? So it's going to be interesting. I guess also, if you can get a early lead in your semifinals matchup, that's going to be a tough decision of, do you give up a game? Do you give up your Sabres streamer who you were planning to hold through the Friday game? Do you drop that person to grab one of these higher end players that has a good schedule in the finals? But you take a risk of maybe that game could have been the difference. Maybe your opponent comes back. So that'll be fun late in the week trying to make decisions like that. But okay, aside from the teams I've mentioned, so that's Ottawa, did I even give you their full schedule? Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday is the Ottawa Senators. So likely you can only fit Monday. If you can fit the Thursday, that makes them, of course, a lot more appealing. Still a few more teams worth mentioning. The Chicago Blackhawks go Tuesday, Thursday, and then Friday, Sunday. So you're getting those 2 off-day games right at the end of the week. Normally I'd be like, wait until Wednesday to grab your Chicago Blackhawk player. But in a week like this, there's probably a lot of people targeting them and they might not be available for long because a lot of people might have the same idea. Because if you have a player on your roster that you're already not able to fit in on Tuesday, Thursday, why not just drop that person now for the Chicago guy to get that Friday, Sunday? As far as which Chicago guy to go after, that's, of course, a whole other question. And look, their lines in the 4-1 loss to Colorado yesterday featured Bedard with Ryan Green and Burakovsky, and then Nazar with Bertuzzi and Lardis, and then Teravainen, Donato, Mikheyev as the third line. So you've got a lot of scrubby guys who are likely not rostered playing with good players. Just to go through what these people have been doing, Bedard, like I said, with Ryan Green and Andre Burakovsky. So, okay, what's Ryan Green up to? Not too shabby. 1 goal, 1 assist in his last 3 games. I like that he's playing with Bedard. Of course, I'd prefer a top power play guy. I just feel like your top power play is probably all taken. Bedard, Nazar, Bertuzzi, Teravainen. Honestly, the defenseman Lev Shunov might be your best bet of getting access to that top power play. So maybe he's someone to look at, though Lev Shunov hasn't been amazing there, and he could definitely get bumped at some point by Rinzel again. But Lev Shunov, only 1 assist in his last, 7 games here. But I do like top power play if, again, your options are limited here. But then I said Burakovsky has been the other guy on the top line. He's been so I can't recommend Burakovsky. He doesn't shoot. He doesn't do anything. And it's not like Giroux playing with 2 good guys. It's like you're playing with Bedard, but also nobody's. I don't even know if Burakovsky. Yeah, Burakovsky's on the second power play for what it's worth, but I don't know. I can't do it. I can't do it for Burakovsky like I could do it for Claude Giroux. Then, like I said, Nazar, who's been awesome. So if you can get Nazar, that would be great, but you probably can't. Nazar is rostered in, actually only 20% of Yahoo leagues. I don't know, for next week, definitely go grab Frank Nazar. That's your streamer of the week. If he's out there, get that Friday, Sunday for Frank Nazar, who's been quiet his last couple of games. But to be fair, Chicago's only scored 3 goals in those 2 games. Before that, he had a few multi-point games over the previous couple weeks stretch. So Nazar's been awesome. Bertuzzi is probably not available to you, and then his other line mate has been Nick Lardis, who I know is a high pedigree guy, has been especially quiet. I can't recommend him, just like Burakovsky, even with decent deployment. Then maybe Teuvo Teravainen is available to you. Only 11% rostered on Yahoo. Like I said, Teravainen bottom 6 with Mikheyev and Donato, but top power play. So pointless in 4 games for Teravainen. Before that, he had 3 games in a row with points. So again, not too bad. Definitely I'd have Nazar first if he's out there, but then give me Teravainen over all the other names I said, your Lev Shunovs or your Burakovskys or whatever, Nick Lardis. So that's Chicago. We still have a couple more I can throw at you. Okay, how about the Boston Bruins? They go Tuesday, Wednesday, and then Saturday, Sunday. So you're going to go a Wednesday and a Sunday. So 2 off-day games. 2 off-day games is the best you can do outside of the Rangers. And there's only 3 teams who give you that. Those are Boston, Buffalo, and Chicago. So I think I'm probably ending this show on the Bruins here to get that Wednesday, Sunday. Some fun names I can throw at you. First of all, Pavel Zacha in your shallow leagues has been just nuts. Scored in 3 straight games going into today. Versus Detroit, where this game is still going. Actually, last time I checked, it was 2-1 for Detroit. All of a sudden, it's 3-2 for Boston. I guess they've scored a couple late goals. Yeah, Elias Lindholm from Geeky and Lore, and then Zadorov from Geeky and McAvoy. I mean, okay. Elias Lindholm's interesting. He may have been dropped in a lot of leagues because he's been super cold. I'm seeing he just scored a goal. Maybe you take a look at him for that Wednesday and Sunday. I always am a fan of going for a guy who's cold, but generally is a good player on a week where the player has a good schedule. It's the deployment isn't there lately. Though I'm seeing for today's game against Detroit, I don't know if things have been shaking around throughout the game, but Pasternak and Lindholm have been split up, which is bad. But to see Lindholm was playing on a line with Morgan Geeky, which is good. So if Lindholm's been dropped at this point, go for him for that. That's at the Nazar level. I think I'd rather have Nazar for the 2 off-day games, but give me the Lindholm 2 off-day games if he's out there in free agency. But anyways, like I said, Zacha's been good. You probably can't get him anymore. Zadorov is rostered in a lot of leagues. He did score today, but still, I guess for blocks and hits, he could be good if you're in a categories league, but for a points league like a cupful, I wouldn't be interested. The name that jumps out to me, Victor Arvidsson, who is quiet today, no points, though I'm seeing that Arvidsson does have 4 shots, which is pretty good to see. Before that, he was riding a 4-game point streak, playing on this line, which is the new perfection line maybe on Boston. Not the same name brands, but Zacha, Arvidsson, and Casey Middlestat have been really good lately, and specifically Zacha and Arvidsson. Definitely interesting as far as I'm concerned. Casey Middlestat, though, not too shabby. Also had 3 points in his last couple games going into today. Nothing today. It looks like maybe even a cardio session coming up for Casey Middlestat. But yeah, so Arvidsson, I think, is your big, might as well go for him. He's hot. He's on a good line, good schedule. So I would take Elias Lindholm over Arvidsson since I'm a sucker for a top power play. The top power play is Lindholm, Pasternak, Zacha, Geeky, McAvoy. But next best, I think, is Victor Arvidsson there. And then and as far as some other guys who have been doing at least something, I guess I should give a mention to Fraser Minton, who scored a goal yesterday versus Winnipeg. He's sometimes throws hits. I guess it was only 1 5-hit game recently, but some decent shots lately. So I don't know. From the bottom 6, Minton on a line with, it's not bottom 6, actually. Sorry, I need to correct myself. Boston today, at least, rolling a top line of Pasternak, Kuznetsov, and Minton. So that does give it the exposure to Minton, who, like I said, scored a goal in the last game. Kuznetsov hasn't been doing too much, but I guess if he's playing with Pasternak, anything could happen. So That would be someone I'd probably wait till Wednesday and make, because I think those lines could definitely change again. Like I said, it's Tuesday, Wednesday, and the Wednesday's at Buffalo. And Buffalo, like I said, the goalies have been so good lately, so it's not even like a slam dunk that Boston's going to get you much. So I think if it's Arvidsson, I'd go for him now, or Lindholm. But anyone else, maybe I'm waiting till Wednesday morning just to see how things shake out on Tuesday and if the lines have been changing around a little bit. But yeah, so look, that's it. That the only other teams to target now are people who will give you a Sunday game. I've told you every single team that plays on Monday, Wednesday, or Friday next week. Oh wait, no, I haven't. Detroit Red Wings. Detroit goes Tuesday, Friday, Saturday. So it's still one game. It's just, I guess you get it on the Friday instead of the Sunday. Like all the rest of the teams, their off day game is on Sunday, like a basic like Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday. So with the Red Wings, I guess you couldn't go for a Friday. But again, you're not going to say, like I said about Alex Lyon, I'm not going to be dropping someone now to get someone who doesn't play until Friday. I feel like probably I would just get someone from the Rangers who stinks, or Ottawa or Buffalo, like I said. But yeah. That's next week. Good luck, everyone. Hope it works out. I think we're all going to be banking on some crappy Rangers and Sens and Buffalo. And like, look, at the end of the day, probably and hopefully it's our star players who are winning or losing the week for us. And it's not coming down to who got the right third liner on the New York Rangers. Like Ty Kartye versus Connor Sherry shouldn't decide a playoff matchup, but it could. So good luck. And I hope I'll be coming back to you in good spirits next week to do this again for the finals. Though I think if you're a good player and if you're doing well in your semifinals, you're going to want to be looking ahead at that finals matchup pretty quickly. I'll tell you right away that Anaheim goes Monday, Wednesday, Friday on that finals matchup. One of the best schedules right there. And also the St. Louis Blues go Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Sunday with a busy Thursday, Saturday in the finals on the week of March 30th to April 5th. So a little look ahead there to maybe target some Ducks and St. Louis Blues if you think that you're going to make it. But okay, I'll stop here. I'll be back tomorrow with the Mega Show with Brian. Hope you like this episode. And yeah, good luck. Have some fun. See ya.